Hey everyone, welcome to Man Cave Insider episode 11. My name is Dennis Clark. Thank you for joining us. If you like what you see, make sure you subscribe to our channel down below so you can see past and future episodes. You can also follow this channel on Twitter. Our handle is @CaveInsider. Now, every episode is something that is selected by my 10-year-old daughter from this room, which features things that I've collected my entire life. Today, we're going to be talking about Bond, James Bond. Those three words have been a part of film and pop culture history for over 50 years. Now, James Bond was created by author Ian Fleming, who wrote a series of 11 novels and 2 volumes of short stories. Fleming's work became the basis of 15 of the 25 Bond films. And what I have here is the Bond 50 box set. This came out in 2012 to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the first Bond film, Dr. No. It has all 23 movies on Blu-ray, many appearing on Blu-ray for the first time. Each film was digitally remastered from the original camera negative, and the picture quality has never been better. Now, one of the things that I like about DVDs and Blu-rays are bonus features, and the Bond franchise did an outstanding job of compiling features on the entire history of the series, of documentaries on each film, vintage television specials, music videos, features on the gadgets, the cars, the locations. There's a tremendous amount of stuff on each disc, and you could spend just as much time watching the bonus features as you would watching the movie. Now, each booklet consists of 2 films per page with the year the film came out and a picture of the Bond girl. Now, the first film, Dr. No, came out in 1962, and of course the original Bond was Sean Connery. What many people don't know is that other actors were considered for the role. The producers actually considered approaching Cary Grant, but they didn't think that he'd be willing to do more than 1 film. Roger Moore was also considered, but he was busy doing a television show at the time. Now, Sean Connery played Bond for the first 5 films. It was Dr. No, From Russia with Love, Goldfinger, Thunderball, and You Only Live Twice. After that film, he stepped down, and the next Bond was Australian actor George Lazenby for the film On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Now, right before the movie was released, Lazenby announced that he was not going to return and that his role in Her Majesty's Secret Service was going to be his only appearance as James Bond ever. Now, the studio wanted Connery back, and so did the fans, and Connery agreed to come back, but just for 1 more film, which was 1971's Diamonds Are Forever. When he stepped down a second time, the role was offered to Roger Moore, who had previously been working on the television series The Saint, which eventually became a film starring Val Kilmer. Now, Roger Moore played Bond for 14 years and appeared in 7 Bond films, more than any other Bond actor. He started with Live and Let Die, The Man with the Golden Gun, The Spy Who Loved Me, Moonraker, For Your Eyes Only, and his last 2 films were 1983's Octopussy and 1985's A View to a Kill. Now, Octopussy came out in the summer of 1983. That fall, Sean Connery returned to the role of James Bond in the film Never Say Never Again. That film was not part of this Bond series. It was released by Warner Brothers, a different studio. Now, the novel Thunderball was co-authored by Ian Fleming and another author who retained the rights and was able to sell the rights for a Thunderball remake to the other studio. Never Say Never Again turned out to be Connery's last film as Bond. It also featured a young Kim Basinger, but like I said, it is not part of this series. Now, after A View to a Kill, Roger Moore stepped down, announcing his retirement. At the time, there was a show on NBC called Remington Steele, starring Pierce Brosnan in a very Bond-esque type of role. The show was canceled that year, and the producers announced that Pierce Brosnan would be playing James Bond in the next film, The Living Daylights. Now, when word got out that Brosnan was going to be playing Bond, interest renewed in not just him, but in the show. Now, NBC's contract said that when they canceled Remington Steele, they had 60 days to renew the show. And if they renewed the show during those 60 days, the actors were bound by their contract to return to the show. And it was around day 56, with all the excitement and buzz of Pierce Brosnan, that NBC decided that they were going to renew Remington Steele for 6 more episodes, which were filming the same time as the new Bond movie, and Brosnan was unable to play Bond. Now, the next Bond turned out to be Timothy Dalton. Dalton was actually offered the role previously when Sean Connery stepped down, but he turned it down because he felt he was too young at the time. Unfortunately, Dalton only played Bond for 2 films, The Living Daylights and License to Kill, in 1989. Now, there were a few things that led to the big break in Bond films between 1989 and 1996. The first is that the Bond films were coming out every other summer, and they were not as much of an event as they were in the Connery era. They had become more episodic. And the second is, the summer of 1989 was one of the biggest summers in movie history. Films like Batman, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Lethal Weapon 2, Star Trek V, Great Balls of Fire, and unfortunately, License to Kill, which is a great film, it got lost in the shuffle, and there would not be another Bond film for 6 more years. Now, during that time, producer Cubby Broccoli stepped down as producer. He had started the series back in '62, and he passed the producing reins on to his stepson, Michael Wilson, and his daughter, Barbara Broccoli, who continue to produce the films to this day. And when Remington Steele was brought back for 6 more episodes, it was canceled again by NBC, and with no other obligations, Pierce Brosnan was finally able to step in to the role of James Bond with 1996's GoldenEye. GoldenEye brought Bond back to event-level status in films, where it has remained ever since. Brosnan appeared in 4 films: GoldenEye, Tomorrow Never Dies, The World Is Not Enough, and Die Another Day. Now, after Die Another Day came out, the producers got the rights to the original Bond novel, Casino Royale. Casino Royale had been a television movie in the 50s, and it was also released in the 60s as more of a spoof film, featuring David Niven as an aging James Bond, but the movie had more of a comedic tone. When they got the rights back for Casino Royale, they wanted to reboot the franchise with a younger Bond. Enter Daniel Craig. Daniel Craig is about to release his 5th Bond film and has been in the role for 14 years, the same amount as Roger Moore. His first film was Casino Royale, followed by Quantum of Solace, Skyfall, Spectre, and No Time to Die, which is going to be released later in the year. It's no doubt that the Bond films are going to be continuing well into the future. It'll be approaching 60 years in 2022. Now, everyone has their favorite Bond. Everyone has their favorite Bond film. I'd like to hear yours. Leave those in the comments below. For the record, my favorite James Bond, well, I like Daniel Craig a lot. I think he's excellent. My favorite Bond would have to be Sean Connery. He set the standard that has continued over 50 years. My favorite Bond film, though, is definitely Skyfall. It's not just a great Bond film. It's not just a great action film. It's a great film. So that is it for this episode. Leave your comments below. I'd love to hear what's your favorite Bond film. Tell me what your favorite Bond is. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks.